introduce our keynote speaker, Jacques Besnainou, who I'm probably pronouncing your name a bit off, but I apologize, Jacques, Executive Vice President of Global Markets and Chief Commercial Officer at Westinghouse. Jacques brings decades of leadership in nuclear energy with a deep understanding of how advanced nuclear technologies can power economic growth, strengthen energy reliability, and address climate challenges of our time. He has been at the forefront of driving global deployment strategies for advanced nuclear, helping communities and industries alike realize the benefits of clean, reliable power. Today, Jacques will share insights on the essential role for advanced nuclear in the energy future, highlighting how innovation, collaboration, and strategic investment can position Pennsylvania and the nation to lead in this critical sector. And he's also been an incredible partner to us in this important work. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Jacques. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Stephanie, a lot for the warm introduction and the IENE conference for putting this very important conference together. And thank you, Darren, also for your great work from Labor. You'll see, I mean, we have to partner on this very much in the next few months, so really looking forward to it. So, my name is Jacques, and you can guess my first name and my accent, that I was not born here, that I'm a very proud I'm a new American. But I have a slight New Jersey accent that you have to, because I started actually, I came from Paris to the US about 30 years ago, and I started in New Jersey. So you have to forgive me for this. But anyway, I've been here for 6 years and working at Westinghouse. It was a dream to come to this company. I've been in the business for 40 years, working for the competition, and I will explain why in a moment. It's a great honor to work for I would say, the greatest company in nuclear in the world. I mean, everything, as you said very well, started here in the 50s. Actually, Westinghouse technology is in about 50% of the global reactor fleet across the world. Everything was invented here. And my great pleasure today, after 40 years, is to maybe bring everything back here in Pittsburgh in the regions. So I have been in this business for 40 years, 40. I'm a nuclear engineer by trade, raised and born in Paris, and I've worked a lot on this issue, both sides of the Atlantic. And to let you know, today it feels very different. I never seen this before. I never seen in the United States such an electricity demand as we see today, ever. Actually, for about 20 years, the US was growing, GDP was growing, but the demand was flat. It's not the case anymore. And and why? It's because of something I didn't see coming, to be totally honest, is the rise of artificial intelligence and the rise of data centers. About 2 years ago, when I started talking to what we call the hyperscalers, Microsoft, Google, Meta, we were talking about data centers size for 10 of megawatts. Last year it was 2 years ago, last year was 100 of megawatts. Now they are talking about gigawatt. A gigawatt is one nuclear plant. Gigawatt data centers. Actually, I don't know if you noticed, but NVIDIA, the manufacturer of chips, they just invested $100 billion in OpenAI, ChatGPT, to build 10 gigawatts worth of data centers. 10 gigawatt worth of data centers. So this is unprecedented. And if I put it mildly now, if we talk about the US, my new country, I think the US artificial intelligence dominance is becoming a national priority. And we are facing a crisis right now. We don't have enough electrons, 24/7. We don't. And you could see it, I mean, PGM is saying that they don't have enough supply. You can see also forecasts in New Jersey that the rates, I mean, the ratepayer are going maybe to see increase of their bill by 50 to 100% in the next few years. So this is a crisis. It reminds me actually of another crisis I went through when I was a kid in France. in the 70s. I don't know if you all remember, most of you were not born. In the 70s, in 73 actually, there was a war, called Yom Kippur War, and we were facing in the Western world an oil crisis for the first time. So my father was a doctor, I remember very well. It's not that he couldn't that the prices were high. The pumps actually in France, was not the case in the US. The US is more fortunate, but in France for a month, there was no gas at the pump. No gas, zero. So at the time, the president of France said, we need to do something, we need to go to nuclear, and we need to build now. We need to find something that is working now. So he said, I don't like what you have to do. The national lab, at the time they had something on paper, said, no, not interested. Where is a reactor that we can copy and replicate? And guess what? The reactor was here. It was actually in Beaver Valley. It was a Westinghouse reactor. So I don't know if you know that, but the entire French fleet is modeled after Beaver Valley here. The first 30 reactors, called the 900 series, are it's a copy-paste of the reactor here. It's how France was able to build, in a record time, about 20 years, 56 reactors. 80% of electricity in France is from nuclear, and it's thanks to all of you. So I think if we look at the crisis, don't never waste a good crisis, said Churchill. Why don't we do the same in the US? Why can't we find a reference plant that we can copy and build a fleet? And this reference plant exists, actually, shovel-ready, and this is from Westinghouse. I don't know if you knew, but the name of the reactor is called AP1000, Advanced Passive 1000 reactor. We have 6 reactors in operation right now, 4 in China and 2 in Georgia here. And the reference plant is Vogtle 4, with 3 and 4. So we have a design here, and we can do the same. We're not as more stupid than the French, actually. We can build a fleet, and we can do it now. So this plant is called, I call it a large modular reactor. Nobody knows that, but the AP1000 is totally modular, on a small footprint, and it's a large output. So today I can tell you that following the executive order of President Trump, I think it was in May, we are going to launch, we collectively, a fleet of, at the beginning, of 10 reactors, 10, all the same. I'm telling my customers you cannot change anything, because in the US we like to be particular, so every plant in the US right now, we have 100 plants, they're all different. We're not going to do that. We're going to build a fleet. It's the only way to be on time and on budget. And we are going to get this fleet of reactors under construction before 2030. So it's happening now. And the reference plant will be Vogtle 4. So why is it interesting for this region? It's because all the engineering, all the procurement is done outside of Pittsburgh. Somebody was asking me where I live. Actually, I live here, but where I work actually not very far. It's Cranberry. It's about 20 miles up the road. Everything in terms of engineering and procurement will be done from here. So it will bring, if we are successful, it's about $75 billion across the US, direct economic windfall, and $6 billion here in Pennsylvania. We will be talking actually with looking at all the suppliers, hiring 15,000 people in the next few years. So it's very important. And so how are we going to do that? I just want to insist on one point. Reactors, all technologies work. You heard about SMR, small reactor, big reactor, new one, they all work. The issue with reactor is the construction. 60% of the cost of a reactor is the construction. And all the delay and the cost overrun comes from the construction, not from the design. So how we are going to mitigate this? First, we are going to build a fleet. So we are going to build from Vogtle 4, next of a kind, to the 10th one, which we call the N of a kind. And we are going to see efficiency, because we already saw between Vogtle 3 and Vogtle 4, 20% efficiency. Of course, when you know how to build one, it's like building when you buy a house. If you have the first house built, and you can build the next 10 houses much easier. And we're going to mobilize the supply chain right away for 10 reactors. Because the suppliers, they can't go do stop and go. I mean, supply a pump and wait 10 more years for another pump. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to supply, to order the entire components for the fleet. And coming back to the discussion with Darren, you'll be interested that the key here is the craft labor force. We have enough electrical engineers. We don't have enough electricians, period. So we need to work with you. We need to work with you to make sure that we can raise and train and retain this force. So we're going to collaborate very much with labor across the US because we need you. And last but not least, I was talking about energy for AI, so how we bring energy for data centers, but I would like to use AI for energy. We can use them. We can use the hyperscalers. So we have a partnership with Google right now to optimize construction. What do I mean about that? When there is a large plant under construction, 10,000 people come every day. 10,000. If half of them have nothing to do, it's a big problem because they are paid no matter what. So I've been told that the new models, the new AI, can optimize all of this. So every day, we hope that the AI will tell every worker, now this is what you have to do. Pipe fitter, you have to go to this room. We know that everything is already ready for you, and you're going to do this task for the day. So the workforce will be guided every day by artificial intelligence to make sure that we have everybody employed every day. And for me, it's the only way to be on cost and on budget and on time. So as a conclusion, I think we're in a race, some people call a war, with the rest of the world. And I'm a very proud new American, to build the most effective AI infrastructure. This is a race. So we need a national effort, like we did in World War II, for example. And for me, it's very close to my heart because, I mean, I'm Jew, and when I was born by accident, and I lost most of my family during the war in France. And my mother was always telling me we were saved by the Americans. It's one of the reasons I came here. And when you think about it, I mean, when America, entered World War II in 1942, this was one of the smallest armies in the world. But what happened? We mobilized all of us, especially Pittsburgh, and understand that Pittsburgh actually was at the core, at the front of this revolution where they were manufacturing many, many tanks and many ammunition, whatever, more than everything can be spared. So Pittsburgh has done it before. So I think this is the same effort here, honestly. I mean, we cannot see it because it's not a real war, but it's a huge effort for the country to build an AI infrastructure. And I think Pittsburgh has done it before. Pittsburgh has been the birthplace for nuclear power, so we can all together make it happen again. Thank you.